Thank you, Lois. Boy, what a perfect day, isn't it? Perfect weather, a big Buckeye victory this afternoon. Doesn't get much better than that, does it? Go Bucks. I will tell you, and you know this, we don't live in a perfect country. We live in a great country, and I'm proud to be an American, but we don't live in a perfect country. As some of the previous speakers have talked about, our spending is out of control at the federal level and at the state level. Government is reaching out into our lives at the federal level, at the state level, at the local level, like never before. And our unemployment in double digits, just unbelievable. We have to do something about that. We don't live in a perfect country, a great country, and we need to collectively make sure we elect the best people to take our country back. I am truly honored and pleased to receive the endorsement of the first, you can't say it either, can you? The first Ohio Capitol Tea Party and Liberty Council. I love your shirts, and you've got some great quotations on the back, but I do think you're missing one. I've shared this story before. I think you're missing a great quote from Ronald Reagan. And the quote talks about government. And Reagan said, many people in government believe that if it moves, tax it. If it keeps moving, regulate it. If it stops moving, subsidize it. Now, those aren't the values that you share, and those aren't the values that I share that government should be, but that's what's happening today in many places in our country. As you know by now, I'm a farmer from Fayette County. I wish I was on a combine right now, shelling corn like my dad and brother are. That's my love. I love to produce things and feed the world. It's something I take great pride in doing. But that's not where my life's calling me right now. We need to help take back our country, and I think I can be a small piece of that. I have very aggressively run an old-fashioned campaign, knocking on doors, visiting with people. Dave talks about standing on a stump. I didn't stand on a stump, but I've stood on almost 18,000 doorsteps. And it's interesting when you talk to people. You see the width and breadth and depth and the variety of people and their opinions. Got a couple quick stories I'll share of the people I met. Down here off of Bridge Street, I met a fellow that came to the door and he didn't have his pants on, which is okay. Not what I wanted to see, but I really wish he'd had some underwear on. And that's a true story. I'm pretty sure at one end of Chillicothe, as I was knocking on the door, the guys came, young men came flooding out of that door, and they were as interested as anybody I've ever knocked on as to what I was doing. I'm pretty confident I was interrupting a drug deal. And they're voters too. And they want limited government. They want limited police force. I didn't necessarily agree with that portion of their agenda, but they do want limited government. And as I've gone door to door, and as we've knocked on these 18,000 doors, we get a series of questions. And so I'd like to turn the tables a little bit. Let me ask you the questions. Give me yes or no answers. Do you believe the state of Ohio should fund a train that costs you $500 million, $17 million annually? No. Do you favor Obamacare and the takeover of the U.S. healthcare system?
No.
Do we need to tax our businesses and our homes with rising energy costs through cap and trade?
No.
Do you support traffic photo enforcement initiatives such as red light cameras? I think Chillicothe spoke on that one pretty strongly. In Ohio, in this last biennium budget, should we have spent an additional $10 billion when families are hurting heading into a recession?
No.
Should Ohio have retroactively increased their income tax, raising an additional $1 billion of your dollars? Should Ohio have increased taxes on nursing homes and hospitals?
No.
Should Ohio have increased 150 some user fees? I could call those taxes, raising another $1 billion. One last question. Should Ohio have forced unfunded mandates on all of our schools?
No.
I agree. Those were the answers I've given at doors. And I'll tell you that the interesting thing, Dave Daniels can answer this. He serves in the Ohio House of Representatives under Democrat control. And they passed all those things. They passed $1 billion income tax. Increased fees on hospitals, increased state fees by over $1 billion, all headed into a recession, increased total state spending by $10 billion. And my opponent supported all those things. He also supported cap and Dave says he did not.
I did not.
Let me clarify, Dave Daniels didn't support any of those. My opponent did. My opponent also supported cap and trade publicly and Obamacare publicly. And that's a choice that you have in this country. And I appreciate choices in this country. But I encourage you to make the right choice, the best choice. Let's collectively, Lois talked about this isn't a party, you're a movement. And let's move our country back to our traditional values. Let's take our country back. And I look forward to working with you to do that. Thank you so much for being here.